Hello, Exiles. This is Ryan from Behind Eyes Gaming, and welcome to another Path of Exile video. It's the day 3 and 4 update for my Frostblades Trickster League starter. Currently level 95. Played is 2 days, 1 hour, 14 minutes, so still maintained kind of the same playtime, but it was a little bit more passive because yesterday I was tired. I took a break, did a lot of hideout warrior stuff such as like crafting and trading. Probably spent like half the day doing that. And my deaths are 26, so died 15 more times since last time. Yeah, I was very tired yesterday. That was part of the reason I decided to take a break. But I have all of my defenses sorted now. I have Fortify. I have a bunch of extra physical damage mitigation via physical damage reduction, and also Fizz taken as fire and lightning on my body armor. I have like my shield and stuff set up, so things are going much more smoothly survivability wise now. The only real tweak I'm going to make is increase some of the stuff overall. And I also just now, since I finished crafting the shield, just now fit in Defiance Banner in my build. So I'm now running 5 different auras. I'm just gonna run a shaper real quick for you. I haven't gotten all of my watchstones. I just started doing pinnacle bossing. I didn't want to do it yesterday, so I was just like collecting some of the materials for it. But yeah, I just did my first shaper this morning, and that's the only pinnacle boss I have done so far. Usually I do Elder first because Elder is the easiest. Usually I go Elder, Shaper, Cirrus, Uber Elder, and then Maven. For me, Maven's the hardest. A lot of people say Maven's easier than Uber Elder and Cirrus, but for me, I always die on the memory game. I have the worst memory on the planet. I think so I just recently have started being medicated for my ADD for the first time in like 7 or 8 years. Oh, of course it has to be what's his name, Duresso. So the problem with Duresso when you have him in Shaper is you have to go through each of his things, and also it delays him going down. So yeah, you have to take his health bar down so many times. He won't just die, and you kind of, if you freeze him, he gets kind of stuck in his attack animations as well. So I think he's the slowest thing to kill in a shaper fight, but that's okay. Had to do that for the demo, of course. POB DPS is 11 million for mapping. I didn't check the what I got or what it's at currently. Okay, got Weaver. I didn't check what it is against Pinnacle bosses, but it's probably like 7 or 8 million against Pinnacle bosses, I would imagine. So yeah, I didn't get as much of a huge DPS boost, but my defenses got boosted a lot. So I spent more time working on my defenses and more resources working on my defenses than anything else. So got that taken care of. Yeah, I died this Shaper earlier because when she was doing her ball thing, oop, I gotta kill this one fast or she's gonna beam me. There you go. Does that annoying dot beam, and I didn't feel like ducking behind the corner. Nice thing about Trickster is how long our charges last, so my charges are still gonna be up. I don't have to like boot swap to get max charges for this, or even sometimes I even still have charges in the Elder Guardian things. Usually I don't get hit by the slam because the chances of the slam actually hitting me are pretty low. It's like a 1 in 70 something chance. I think a little lower than that, even factoring in the potential to block it. But I don't want to just randomly get unlucky and get one shot while I'm shooting a video. So alright, try to make sure this ball is in the corner. I could try to tank it. Oh, he ended up popping out at one, or at a weird spot anyway. So go ahead and get through here real quick. Oop, shouldn't be wasting my blink. I should be using that to get across these little gaps, speed things up a little bit. I guess I can do it when there's a lot of monsters around. That was bad aim right there, because the cooldown will go around or go down. But there you go. Pop over here. Pop over here. All right, and should be right up here somewhere. There he is. Get him real quick, and get back the shaper here. Yeah, I might try to... Oh, yeah, this is the spot where I died. So I got really impatient, and I popped out of the bubble before the balls are going. Got hit by 2 of them, and then immediately got hit by a beam as well. So, little rough going there. It was just a real bad error. Oop. I should not be right up in his face like that when he's shooting those, but I did survive. I luckily noticed my reaction isn't that boomer today, and I managed to pop up steel skin, so we were fine. And my potion at the same time. Otherwise, my reactions had been a little slower. I probably would have just died there. Generally speaking, pretty much for every boss, a lot of their attacks are omnidirectional, meaning a lot of them have attacks that literally just hit the things in front of them. So ideally, for pretty much every boss, you should try to be behind them, which is pretty easy as a cold damage trickster, considering you have like all of this inherent action speed reduction. But yeah, I don't have that much freeze duration, so, but I do have okay damage, so I wasn't really paying attention to see if I was proccing Trinity on Shaper himself. Obviously, I'm gonna do it on the ads here, but I'll have to pay attention to see if I can keep my... Oh, I'm on top of the degen ground. I'm like, why am I taking damage? Okay, let's see. Oh. Okay, it looked like I was keeping my turn D up for that. Alright, and wait patiently this time. He has a long wind up for his beam anyway. There you go. As you can see. So I don't need to panic and be sitting there. Oh, yeah. There you go. Easy enough. Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm not going to pick up any of the other Shaper stuff. So that was Shaper. As you can see, my DPS against him isn't too bad. I'm still lacking some stuff, like I still don't have a good enchant. I'm still running the budget enchant on my yoke, but I wanted to pick up a better resist yoke before I, went ahead and got... right now, I'm thinking of 3 anoints. I'm thinking of... Savagery would be one obvious choice. Whispers of Doom would be another one. It's triple gold, of course, so it might be expensive. I haven't looked at oil prices. And I'll explain the circumstances in which I'll get Whispers of Doom. And Sovereignty. Sovereignty, I think, would be interesting because I believe with everything, I might have to run a little lower, but I could get rid of Defiance Banner and potentially put in Tempest Shield. One of the weaknesses of this build is the lack of shock immunity. In fact, that's like, besides physical attacks, which we try to deal with via other means, just with having a little armor and then damage conversion and additional physical reduction. But besides physical attacks, lack of shock resist is the only like major weakness of this build. And I think with the new jewels and everything, it wouldn't be that hard. I'll deal with this later. I'll check which of my Shapers touch are better. I doubt they're selling for much, so I probably won't try to sell them. All right, let's go ahead and go through the gear then. So I finally upgraded my claw. I actually bought this, it had flat fire damage on it when I bought it, and it was 1 divine, so it was triple elemental, and it had the flat fire damage. It did not have the gain 1 mana per enemy killed. That was open. I exalt slammed that, so a little bit unfortunate there. That's a prefix. You know, I would have preferred just about anything to, or sorry, suffix. Well, yeah, even like a resist would have been better than that. Ideally I would have hit crit multi, but you know, what you gonna do? So I have that. And yeah, this is just a higher crit chance. Now my crit chance, I got a lot of crit chance when I finally got my Lethal Pride, which I'll talk about later. Part of the reason I was too tired to make a video yesterday is because of that Lethal Pride. And part of it is just haven't been taking care of myself, been kind of burning the candle on both ends. But I'll talk about my experience Legion farming. I do have a different heat shiver. I got a higher resist one that just had corrupt. This was really cheap. You can find corrupted heat shivers and look for like prefixes. You're probably not going to find a +1 power charge one, but the effective shock just makes my like, I think I was getting 50 shock on Shaper there. I didn't really look, but I've been pretty consistently max shocking everything. So this is probably helping a little bit with that. New body armor. I bought a white General's Brigandine that was 6 linked and item level 85 and crafted it myself using harvest. I've been doing a lot of harvest crafting. I still have a decent amount of juice. I burned through all of my blue, but I still have like 10,000 of the other two, and I had like 25,000 at one point. I've been doing a ton of harvest. And I'll probably be sticking to harvest for quite a while because I have a lot of projects that I'm going to need it for. But yeah, this has the chance to fortify on hit, and I need to farm embers. I'm currently farming Eater of Worlds, and I'm going to switch over to Searing Exarch. Oh, and I also have all of my map completion. I don't know if I mentioned that. I did manage to do that. I did my Coward's Trial, which was the last one just before this. I got it from a Kirak mission. I just burned a bunch of my scouting reports that I had and all of my unique ones. So, but yeah, new body armor. It's got life, spell suppress, a resist that I needed, physical damage reduction, and then actually armor and evasion percentage as well. Honestly, it's pretty close to perfect. Like higher tier rolls on things would be great, but like tier 3 physical damage reduction, tier 3 spell suppress, tier 6 fire resist, tier 5 life, and tier 6. But like it's got all the right stats mostly. It's just you know, they're just all kind of low tier. But overall, this is very, very good, and I won't need to replace it for a while, and I probably won't be able to replace it for a while. But an ideal version of the chest would be pretty similar to this, just with like all tier 1s, hopefully. But yeah, that is pretty good. I'm very happy with this. I'm going to turn the increased cold damage into aura effect. That'll benefit us greatly because it'll give us a bunch more evasion, a bunch more accuracy, some additional more damage multipliers for the hatred as well. So, and we don't really have that much aura effect. I think like there's like 6% on this. Yeah, we currently have 6. So even the lowest tier, which is 10%, will actually be a pretty considerable boost since we have so little aura effect currently. Both rings are new. This ring I crafted and I was extremely happy. Obviously, this is a very good ring. It's got tier 1 accuracy, tier 1 life, tier 1 flat cold damage, tier 3 lightning resist, tier 2 cold, and it had an open prefix. I essence crafted this, I do believe. I'm currently working on qualitying it with attack because that will benefit the accuracy and the flat cold damage. I could also use life and mana, which would give me at 20% -8 total mana cost and a bunch of life since I have a max roll tier 1 life. So either one of those is an okay option. This ring, I bought the base for 3 chaos, which was just eye level 83 amethyst ring with a tier 2 fire resist on it. And then once again, I just, I don't remember. Oh, I harvest crafted this one with the chaos reroll, which costs only 100 of, I don't remember which thing, 100 yellow. And right now, yellows are going 1 chaos for 75, so it's like 1.3 chaos per roll. And you're always on jewelry. The only chaos roll on any piece of jewelry, I believe, at least for belts and rings, is chaos resist. And I think there's like 6 or 7 tiers of chaos resist that can roll. So you basically have like a 1 in 3 chance of getting a tier 1 or 2 chaos resist roll. And then you just have to keep rolling until you get other good stats. In this case, I needed an open prefix to put the non-channeling skills mana cost on there. But yeah, I needed the fire resist, so that's why I chose to do that. And yeah, just having essences and harvest crafting with fractured items is just insane. It's just overpowered. And this one I am getting the life and mana one on because my attack rolls aren't that good. I could do resist as well to get like 20% extra. That'd give me like 5 or 6 extra chaos resist, I think, and a little bit extra fire resist as well. So that wouldn't be too bad, but yeah, right now this one will give me -8 total mana cost when I get that 20%. I no longer am on the Gladiator's Perseverance with the additional strike because I crafted this pair of Hydra scale gauntlets. At the time, I bought the orb. It's the one you get from Cirrus. I don't remember which one it is or which one it's called, but the one that lets you smash together 2 influence types. And then I bought I already had 1 base. By the way, very important thing and a huge stealth nerf to this build, or stealth buff rather to this build and a bunch of other builds. The Guardians now drop all influenced items. This is actually huge because dropped influence items are guaranteed to roll one of the influence. I've gotten some nutty stuff in here. Let's see. Like, look at this. Look at this amulet. +1 physical skill gems, malevolence, mana reservation efficiency, and chaos damage over time modifier. Like chaos seismic trap or chaos blade vortex would love something like this. This would be nutty. This just dropped from Al Hasman, so really crazy stuff here. So I got the additional strike, which is hunters, to drop while I was searching for my shield, which I also got I don't think in the same run, but and then I bought the +1 frenzy charge warlords for 15 chaos, and then I bought the orb for 1 divine. So I self-farmed 1 and bought the other. So these gloves basically cost me 1 divine and 15 chaos. The rest was self-found. Obviously, I can farm all this stuff. I can make something like this very easily now. Literally, you just need to farm warlord and hunter, pick up a pair of gloves, or pick up all of the gloves from both of them until you find one with frenzy charge and additional strike, and then smash them together on whatever the better base is. In this case, it was a Hydra scale gauntlets. The other was like an ES base. And bada bing, bada boom, you have your item. And then I needed cold resist, and it was there was an open suffix, so I crafted that on there. Obviously, we're only going to have 1 prefix that can be flat cold damage, life, whatever. I did get a tier 1 fire damage to attacks roll, which is some damage. We do scale like just some generic elemental and claw damage, so that isn't nothing for sure. But yeah, could be life or something. Pretty nice. I still haven't qualityed these. I should probably do that. Probably should have done that for a while. Anyway, but yeah, I still have the same belt, but I do have a new jewel. This one has a little bit of crit chance, cold damage to both just generic attacks and claws, and then a little bit of crit strike chance. So way better than before. I'm gonna try to craft one that has all T1s, basically just doing the same thing. I've been putting any like high, I think 84 or higher murderous sigils in here, and just smashing the cold. And I'll probably continue to do that and just like leapfrog as I get better murderous sigils. So that's one of my plans. I'm currently 7 over spell suppress. I was hoping to hit spell suppress on the shield, but honestly, I'm not too sad with this, and until I get my resistances sorted from other things, because suppress is a suffix. But once I get a little bit more suppress from other sources, I can also get it on gloves potentially as a suffix, and I have 2 wasted suffixes on this glove, so I'll probably try to craft another one when I kill Cirrus for myself and get like a couple of those orbs when I start doing that. And then I'll keep doing Guardian farming and smashing more of those together. And then I'll probably double corrupt some. I actually plan on double corrupting shields too, the reservation efficiency shield. So I'm gonna like leap slam and then my outdated ones, or leapfrog over as I get better ones, and then I'll take my outdated ones and I'll do temple and I'll double corrupt them. Shield, for a double corrupted shield, you can get physical taken as elemental, which is huge in this build, really big. Just increases our physical damage durability. Gloves, you can get all sorts of good stuff like +1 frenzy charge, elemental weakness on hit. And yeah, that's what I mean about Whispers of Doom. If I can get a pair of gloves with a corrupt elemental weakness on hit, then my anoint will be Whispers of Doom. Otherwise, it's going to be either savagery or sovereignty, depending if I want to try to go for the Tempest Shield route. So that's kind of the plan. And then I want to fit more spell suppression elsewhere, so I can replace these and finally get the Legacy of Fury, I believe they're called, to give Scorch, which will give us basically another, I think, 19 or 21. Actually, I think it's even more than that currently. So I have 20% ailment effect here, and then 40% here, so that's 60%. Oh yeah, and I don't actually have the right medium jewel here yet, but yeah, so that's a gear. Oh, and I made some slight upgrades to my, I just have higher item level and slightly better rolled. I still need a high item level diamond flask, so I can get higher tiers for that. But everything else, even though I don't have the tiers set up perfectly, like this one does have tier 1 flask gain on crit strike, but it's tier 3 move speed. This one has tier 1 attack speed, which is really nice, but tier 3. So I'm just gonna slowly over time increase these. And yeah, I need to upgrade my diamond flask. I still haven't re-rolled my life flask. I need to do that at some point since I have corrupted blood immunity. Although regular bleeds could be an issue, but will become less of an issue as we get more additional physical damage reduction, if we can fit more of that in. So that's that. I'm gonna go over the skill tree. I respect my help Alira into 2 additional points because I needed them, and then I pathed over this way so I could cut out these 4 points, and cut out the connecting point here. So I gained 5 total points, I believe, doing that, 4 or 5 points. My crit chance is also high enough that I don't need the 4th power charge because I'm over 100% against things that I hit with my Assassin's Mark now. And now that I've taken this out, I'm still at like 98% against Assassin's Mark or something like that. So I have that going. My Lethal Pride, part of my fatigue from yesterday is I tried to self-farm my Lethal Pride, which I did do. I got so many other jewels. I did a total of close to 150 maps. I was just blasting through maps and kind of rushing, doing the legions and everything with all of the legion passives, and often using rusted legion scarabs as well. Not always, but like probably like a third of the time I was also using them until I kind of ran out. And I didn't really want to buy more. So I did one 5-way, which I was a little under geared for. I'd be fine doing a 5-way now, but I was only able to get 2 bars. Instead of trying to do all 5 of them in a circle because they respawn after 30 seconds, I probably should have focused on 3 or 4 of them, and then I would have had a better shot at getting my Lethal Pride, so that was more of a mistake of my strategy. But my DPS was still a little low at that point to be doing 5-ways. I think I'd be fine doing them now though. And then I did 4-4-ways, and finally on my last 4-way I did get a Lethal Pride. That's probably the longest it's taken me to self-farm a Lethal Pride. Usually I get more Lethal Prides than anything else. In this case it was the opposite, but I guess that's just how luck rolls sometimes. But the one that I got ended up being pretty decent. It doesn't have any double damage, but what it does have is max fortification here, melee crit strike here, melee crit strike again here, max fortification again here, reduced physical or crit or reduced extra damage from crit strikes here, maximum life here, physical damage, which benefits us a little bit, totem damage, which does almost nothing. So we have triple melee crit strike chance. So we get 90% crit strike from this one, as well as +2 maximum fortification, which is 2% less damage taken. So it's basically a 10% increase of effectiveness to our fortify, which is nice. Yeah, so overall, it's not the best because it doesn't have double damage, but there aren't really any wasted points. Like the totem damage is kind of a wasted point, but I can actually make use of everything else on this. And I guess we are running Ancestral War Chief, so it gives a little extra damage here. And even the power charge was +20 strength, which wasn't too bad. So yeah, I got that. And then the other changes I made, I have a new jewel. I was playing around in the POB. So two interesting things about this jewel. First of all, I didn't have that much added damage. So I'm starting to get more because we have a cluster jewel now. I just have kind of a really basic cluster jewel. I'll probably Exalt Slam this later because it's actually pretty good. Even widespread destruction, the increased area of effect will increase the explosions of our Herald device, which will improve our clear a little bit, which is already very good. But yeah, this is beneficial as well. So yeah, we got the attack speed, and I think I've explained this in the past, but if you haven't watched my previous videos, I'll explain it again. You take an eye level 84 cold damage large cluster jewel, preferably 8, but also 9 is usually fine as well, depending on the rolls. Usually it's fine. Sometimes if you have notables on 9, it can make it a little wonky. But then you take and you either reforge caster with the blue life forces, or reforge attack with the red. Both of those only have one thing that can roll. It's guaranteed, which is the increased attack and cast speed with cold skills. There are 3 tiers of this, so you get 1%, 2%, or 3% chance. The 3% can only roll on item level 84 or higher, which is why we use that. And then you just roll until you get 3% along with other good stuff, basically. Increased damage is really good. 35 or even 25% increased effect, because that'll give us an extra attack speed on each node, is really nice. 35 will put us up to 15, I believe, or 16 cold damage per node, and then also 4% attack and cast speed. Yeah, there's good stuff all over there. But the important thing is the 3% attacks and cast speed. And then, yeah, anything else on top of that is really nice. So, but yeah, this jewel is interesting. I was looking for things and it just gave me a lot of damage. The added damage is helpful. And it also has reservation efficiency. The interesting part about this jewel that I wanted to talk about, the chance to poison on hit. Now, this is a very small amount, but it's just kind of funny. So enemies take 5% increased damage for each type of ailment. Not each type of elemental ailment. Poison's an ailment, bleeding's an ailment, if you have a small amount of bleed or poison chance, you can actually kind of increase the, like right now from our elemental ailments, we're getting 40% increased damage taken on enemies and then another 50% from the shock. So just from this, we're getting 90%. And then from the bone chill, we're getting another 30%. So that's 120%. And then we're also getting mark the prey, which is another 10%. So we're getting 130%. So an extra 5% on top of that isn't that much, but it did bring me from when the enemy is poisoned, I go from like 10.8 million to 11 million. So I do gain about 200,000 damage when they're poisoned. Now my uptime for poison, on average, it takes me 33 hits. And even with the increased poison duration, I only have a 1.63% duration on the poison. So it's probably going to be down like 70 or 80% of the time. So it's really not actually a DPS increase. It's just like a little occasional boost, but I just thought it was funny. And, if you could get a higher chance to poison on hit, or if you could get a couple of these, like, it might be something, but an extra damage mod would be preferred. But the 5% increased damage and cold penetration, and along with just the other good stats, made this one of the best ones for me. But other than that, I don't think anything's changed. Yeah, everything else is pretty much the same, except we switched back to precision has reservation efficiency, because we can now once again run a level 20 precision. I have been working on Ice Bite. I leveled up 5 Ice Bites to 20. Flipped them to 20%, leveled them up again, and didn't get 21 on any of them, so I'm doing it again. I found an Empower, which is leveling up very quickly because of all of the rares that give a bunch of gem experience. So I found a level 1 11% quality Empower, and I just put it in here. So I'm going to have a level 3 Empower very quickly. Like I literally got this last night, got a whole level, and then another over half a level again this morning. So yeah, you can level up in powers really quick. And I wasn't even blasting maps last night. I have been this morning, but last night I definitely wasn't. So that is pretty much everything. So what are my goals as far as like my everything? So what am I doing next? I talked about getting Legacy of Fury, a better yoke, like just better resistances, and then getting a better anoint on that. And then my crafting projects. As far as what I'm going to be pushing content-wise, this is my current Atlas tree. So as you can see, eventually I am going to want my Circle of Fear. So I have Vivid Memories. I've only found one distant memory so far, or one synthesis map this whole league. So they aren't dropping very much. Conqueror's maps seem to drop even more than last league, though. Even with just these like little nodes, it seems like they must have buffed the base chance, because I've been getting Conqueror maps like probably like 60% of maps. It's really crazy. Now, part of that might be because I am running City Square, which has 3 bosses. City Square, I think, is really good right now because it's relatively open. There are some obstacles, but it is relatively open, and it's really quick to get to the boss on the inside. If you want to if you get a bunch of them and you don't want to run the whole thing, you can just rush the boss to get the chance for the various like map drops, like your Conquer maps and stuff. You can do that. And there are 3 of them. There's just a lot of good stuff about City Square overall. And it's a pretty mindless, easy map to run. It's just a square and the bosses are always in the middle. So I'm running that right now. I'm probably going to switch back over to Dunes later on when I want a bigger, more open map. And then when I'm really pushing for experience and like putting pack size, I'm going to be going Underground Sea, which is I think, in my opinion, the layout to monster pack ratio on Underground Sea is better than any other map. It just spawns, its pack size is huge. Its base pack size is enormous. Once you start scaling like a bunch of juice with it, it gets like out of control. Good XP per hour. So Yeah, my goal right now is to just finish up the Pinnacle bosses. I'm gonna run Cirrus. I'm gonna run Elder. I'm gonna hopefully be able to get some of distant memories so I can start trying to get my Circle of Fear. If I fail to do it for a while, I'll just buy one. I mean, they're probably not that expensive. The two main pieces of content besides altar farming and then farming for the Guardian maps and such I'm running are going to be Harvest and Expedition. As you can see, I've shafted Gwenin. I've increased the chance of everything except Gwenin showing up. She still shows up occasionally, but it seems very infrequently. My chances of running into a harvest currently are like 68%, just as a baseline, with all of the percent chance of harvest or a sacred grove being on my map. So about 2/3 of my maps I get a harvest. Sometimes it feels like even more than that. And then I think I have roughly a 50-50 shot of getting a expedition encounter as well. So I've gotten rid of all the strongbox nodes except for the operatives one. When I do see strongboxes, I want them to have a chance at least to be operatives, because strongbox has a pretty high base chance of showing up still. I got out of the June mission because I got all of my crafts, so I'm out of that now. I've gotten out of Essence. I might go back into Essence later on, but if I do, it's going to have all 4 of the notables, so I can really go hard at it just to get a lot of them. I'm not going to do like the halfway amplified energies and prolific essence that I have been doing. I'm going to go super hard. But after this, I really, really, really want to do the new Abyss stuff. I think it looks really cool. I bet you it'll be a lot of experience. So I can possibly push up towards potentially getting level 100, which I failed to do last league. Yeah, so that is kind of my plan. I've blocked out basically everything, really just super focused. Oh, and I also want to try out the new Metamorph. I think the new Metamorph stuff looks really neat too. So Abyss and Metamorph are the 2 things I want to try out. And then other than that, I'm just going to continue to do the Sanctums. I've been having a lot of fun. I've beaten 4 Sanctums now, 1 in white maps to test the rewards. They're not good. 1 in yellow maps, the rewards are a little bit better in yellow maps, but in the time that I got like maybe 50 chaos worth of rewards from the total Sanctum. It took me 20 minutes to like collect and then run all of the Sanctums over the course of an hour. And then I did 40 minutes of just like blasting strands and crimson temples. In that time from harvest, I made 13,000 harvest juice, which is worth like at the time was worth 180 chaos. And I got like 50 chaos worth of value from the Sanctum. So that means if you scale that for time, I spent twice as much time mapping, but even if you scale that, basically I made 80% more profit from hour just from harvest. That's not factoring in what I made during that time mapping from expedition and just regular mapping drops. So just from the harvest alone, I outscaled the Sanctum drops by 80%. But relics are the main reason to be running that. I want to get a bunch of really cool relics that I can try on different characters that'll push it to another level. I saw +2 additional strikes. Somebody said they got on a relic, which would be amazing for this, and it would change our options for gloves. We could potentially run unique gloves. So there's some options there, including the rage generating one. So we could have perma rage on this build, which would be really sick. So relics open up a whole lot of new opportunities. If I could get 2 strikes, 2 additional nearby enemies, and fortify on hit, that opens up insane amounts. So I'm still going to be running a lot of that. Oh yeah, and red maps. I did a low level red map one and tier 11s and a 83 one. The rewards are pretty good for that, honestly. I was getting like stacks of 10 or 12 chaos that I could defer that I got at the end, a bunch of those. I saw divines here or there, but the one run and the 83, I saw divines as a reward twice, but it was both the time on things that would have bricked my run. So I would have gotten negative effects that would have bricked my run, so I couldn't take them. So I don't know if it was like 1 or 2 or 3 divines, how many divines it would have been. But I still had a huge stack of chaos that dropped from the red map, so that one might be worth it. Who knows? Anyway, this was long because it was 2 days worth of updates basically, and there was a lot to go over. But I hope you enjoyed. I'll be continuing to push. I might try to, after I get all of the pinnacle bosses done, I might start gearing up to try to push Ubers this time around because I think I'll possibly be able to. But the one thing probably before that I'll do is I'll work on a full Sanctum guide because I think I have like foolproof methods to consistently get through Sanctum. So yeah, I'll probably look to do that. This has been Ryan from Behind Eyes Gaming, and I will see you next time. Bye.